Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. She's not feeling too good today. She's recovering, so you're stuck with me on this Sunday night. Hey, we're going to talk about Hollywood, and I guess things are getting pretty bad. Governor Newsom is talking about doubling the tax credits to Hollywood to get Hollywood to start making movies again, making TV shows again. I can't believe we're here, but we're here, right? And this is kind of what we said was going to happen. They had the strikes. Everything costs a lot more. We had the pandemic that broke stuff, that broke the system. We have a decline in streaming because everybody rushed to burn themselves up, blow themselves up, chasing streaming services, and a lot of those services did not work out. We have companies like Disney, studios like Disney putting out bomb after bomb after bomb and losing massive amounts of money. And we have productions moving out of the state. A lot of people moving to like Nevada, I guess that's what they're doing. And they're outsourcing more work overseas, and they're kicking work over to AI. And now Governor Newsom has to beg Hollywood to make movies and TV shows in California, right? We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about Hollywood's last stand, Hollywood's final act, according to Forbes, that streaming is the end of Hollywood as we've known it. We got this article here from the LA Times. Hollywood production falls below strike levels as reality TV takes a massive hit. Below strike levels, guys. Remember when everyone's like, hey, yeah, if we just survive until 25, if we can just get on the other side of this strike. And, I told you, I hate to be that guy, and I'm not trying to gloat. I'm just saying, this is exactly what was going to happen. The studios wanted to cut back on the number of productions that they greenlit because they had buyer's remorse, right? And here we are. So this could be the death knell for Hollywood. Before you get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. This just dropped this morning. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Alarming production drop spurs Gavin Newsom to propose doubling tax credits to Hollywood. The governor wants to increase incentives to film and television to $750 million a year. Further changes may be on the way as the migration of production from the state borders on an exodus. They said MasterChef, Supergirl, Kelly Clarkson, these productions all initially filmed in California, but they were convinced to leave, in part to more lucrative tax credits in other regions. Now, as a runaway production in Hollywood and cost-cutting threatens the state's hold on the film and television business, Governor Newsom is stepping in. Yeah, he stepped in. He stepped in all right, didn't he? I mean, you can't miss it. It's all over the damn street. But it's changing. Everything is changing. We don't need Hollywood anymore. We don't need everything to be centralized in Hollywood anymore. And that's really good news if you're an independent filmmaker or a content creator, right? Anyway, back to the article. It says an early budget proposal looks to vastly increase California's current cap for a program that provides tax relief to producers across the business from $330 million to $750 million a year. Newsom is set to reveal on Sunday. The expansion would shower as much as $3.75 billion in tax credits to the industry over 5 years starting in 2025. This is what they're talking about, survive until 25. I still think it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be more lucrative for studios to film outside of LA for a number of reasons. And not to be that guy, but part of it is, I think, to sidestep unions. If they're just, outsourcing to other countries, or they're just, like Netflix, they're just acquiring programs from other countries. If passed, the subsidy would be the most generous offered by any state except Georgia, which doesn't have a ceiling on the amount it gives to productions per year. Are they still doing the Georgia? Because Georgia, I remember, everybody was going to boycott Georgia. Remember that? That lasted for about 2 weeks over the abortion ban or whatever. They were just like, yeah, we're not going to film in Georgia. And that lasted all of 2 weeks. I see a lot of peaches in the credits of movies these days. So they're totally filming in Georgia. That includes New York, Hollywood's second most popular destination. California has increasingly been exchanging blows in a fight for productions amid a highly competitive incentive race to attract Hollywood dollars. This means that film productions can stay, says LA Mayor Karen Bass. Is it Bass or Bass? I don't know. I don't live in LA. I don't know. It means that all the other jobs, or all these jobs would be lost because they would go to another state or overseas. they can stay here. Further changes to the program have yet to be finalized. Potential amendments could affect the maximum amount of a single production that they can receive in tax relief and what types of expenditures would qualify for incentives. They'll be taking into consideration a range of additions and potential fixes to the existing program, says Colleen Bell, the director of the California Film Commission. Everyone's in the business of luring production away from California. We have to invest in our lead and preserve jobs for Californians so they can do the jobs they love and put paychecks in their pockets. Now, things are pretty bad. We've been covering this. Things are very, very bad right now. The move arrives after months of entertainment industry workers in the LA area speaking out about lack of employment opportunities in the iconic production hub. I hate to be that guy, but hashtag Clownfish was right. I told you this is what was going to happen. You go on strike, you cripple the film industry, you cripple the studios. They decide, hey, we're not going to let this happen again. And or we're going to use the opportunity to get rid of a bunch of stuff that we probably shouldn't have greenlit in the first place, which is exactly what they're doing. They're cutting back because they can't afford it. In the wake of the writers and actors strikes, local crew members and creatives described an anemic return to production as major companies sought to slash costs, and the era peak TV came to a screeching halt. Yeah, was it worth it? I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but was it worth it? Because they were looking to save money, and you made yourselves very easy targets. It's like, oh no, guys, we don't have enough money, and they're on strike. Oh no, I guess we're going to cancel this, Tumblr cartoon or whatever that nobody was going to watch. You know what I'm saying? For some of these workers, the financial difficulties during the strikes and their aftermath have been significant. People have sold homes, lived out of cars and RVs, and frequented food banks. That's awful. With some leaving the business entirely for other fields. Increasing tax incentives to productions across the state emerged as a proposed remedy for the situation in June during labor negotiations for crew members who belong to the LA area Hollywood Basic Crafts Union Coalition. Like, everybody is renegotiating right now. And this might be one of the last union negotiations, in my opinion, because I think it's a matter of time until they decide, hey, we can replace you with robots, or we can just outsource to other countries. We don't need you. We don't need people in LA anymore. And we certainly don't need to pay what we have to pay to work with union people, right? I mean, it's just, it's the sign of the times, guys. They said new data released on October 16th shows that filming in LA is approaching historically low levels, with the 3-month period from July to September seeing the fewest number of shoot days this year. The figure even falls short of shooting in the region during the same time last year when the industry was halted by the work stoppage. So they were filming more in LA during the work stoppage. I know they had some carve-outs there than they are now because they canceled everything. Among the biggest causes for concern is a steep drop in unscripted TV production. Last quarter, shooting for the category fell 56%. Filming for TV shows, long an anchor of filming in the area, continues to decline as every category of scripted production trails historic norms. Directors Guild of America Associate National Executive Director and Western Executive Director Rebecca Ryan stresses the production in the state is currently in real peril. Well then, maybe you should explain to your members why it's in real peril. Maybe grinding Hollywood to a halt wasn't a very good idea. She adds that the governor's proposal provides an important acknowledgement that this is an industry we want to keep in California. Do we really? I don't know. I don't know if a lot of studios want to, because they're dealing with some pretty difficult people, and they're dealing with some pretty difficult financial and political situations in California. If it were me, I'd be like, you know what? If I can move it all to Texas, or I can move it to Nevada, or I can move it literally anywhere else and not have to deal with the insanity of 2024 California, I'm going to do it. I'm absolutely going to do it. The DGA and other industry unions have spent a lot of time talking to Newsom's administration about their production concerns, the high level of unemployment, the amount of work leaving the country, the inability to compete effectively with incentives elsewhere. And I think the governor was listening. Yeah. It's not good, guys. So here, let's skip over to this article. This is coming from Forbes. Why streaming could be Hollywood's final act. They talk about the founding of Netflix in 1997. It was a mail-order DVD sale and rental business. I don't know how many of you out there remember when Netflix used to actually send you physical DVDs. They said by 2009, Netflix was shipping 900 million DVDs a year to more than 10 million subscribers, accounting for around 1.3% of all mail in the U.S. Its subscriber numbers peaked at 14 million in 2011, but Reed Hastings had his eye on an even bigger prize. 4 years earlier, the company had taken advantage of advancements in technology to launch subscription video on demand, SVOD. And I remember when Netflix first started this, it was like, oh my God, you can watch movies, full movies over the internet, kind of like YouTube. It was pretty crazy. And Netflix, when it did this at first, the stuff they had wasn't very good. I remember it was a lot of like direct-to-DVD crap and like bargain bin crap. But eventually it started to get really good and they started to have like major releases. So they go on to talk about how successful Netflix is. And then they talk about Disney in particular getting greedy and deciding they want to compete with Netflix. They want to have complete control of their streaming. And they're talking about, you know, all the massive amounts of money that these studios have spent creating content, right? And they said the operating costs of Disney Plus surged due to the content splurge. As revealed, Disney spent around $550 million just on Moon Knight, Secret Invasion, and Loki Season 2. It explains why Disney's direct-to-consumer division generated blockbuster losses, as shown in the chart below. Yeah, they had massive losses. Look at this. And then all their movies kind of misfired too. They said the perfect storm was magnified for Disney's flagship Marvel franchise. The interconnected storylines, which were previously one of its biggest strengths, suddenly became one of its weaknesses. This is because it could make fans who missed out on one of the shows more reluctant to watch the next one for fear they wouldn't understand it. They said that Disney made it very appealing for families to just watch it on Disney Plus or wait for Disney Plus because it was much cheaper to pay the $10, $15 a month or whatever than it was to take a family of four to a movie, buy popcorn, get a babysitter, whatever you got to do, right? And they said they were just hemorrhaging money. And it wasn't just Disney, it was like everybody. I mean, this article just goes on and on and on, but they said the addiction to streaming had finally brought the curtain down on Hollywood as production pipelines soon dried up during the shutdown, leading to losses across the entire film industry, from studios down to special effects firms, as we recently revealed. Resolution to the strikes in the fall last year piled on the pain for studios as they agreed on a formula to pay workers a share of the streaming spoils as part of an increased pay package. It added to the cost of making content, which was already colossal. In January, Variety forecast that the top 10 studios would spend a combined $120 billion on entertainment content this year, putting the total lost during the 6 months of the strikes at approximately $60 billion. Taking that amount of money out of the ecosystem caused chaos for cash flow across the industry, and it's still reeling from it. They're talking about all these visual effects studios closing because there's no work. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the pandemic, right? You can't just push pause on the world and then turn it back on, start it back up, and expect things to go back to normal within a couple of months or a month or two. And that's that. We're still reeling from the effects of the shutdown. Nothing works right. Nothing works right. In Hollywood, even more so, because people are like, wow. Actually, I think I would add to this. I would say what happened was during the pandemic and during the, the content drought, as we didn't have a lot of new movies or new TV shows or whatever, people went back and they watched old stuff. People went back and they watched things they'd never watched before because they never had time. And then they realized, like, oh my God, there's all this TV, all these movies that I've never seen before. And I don't need to subscribe to Disney Plus. I don't even need to subscribe to Netflix. And you've got like Roku and Tubi, and they've got all this stuff for free. And, it'd be a great time to be young and poor, because I remember when I was young and poor, I was talking about it earlier today on Twitter, but like, cable was expensive. Right? DirecTV was expensive, and now you can just go buy a couple $100 TV at Walmart Make sure you have a decent internet connection, and there's more than you can possibly watch in a lifetime available to you. So why would you want to pay extra? You know, and there really aren't a lot of movies coming out that people feel need to be seen on the big screen, even if they're good. You know, Transformers 1, everybody, I need to watch it yet. I was actually going to buy it on Vudu, but like, everybody said it was a really good movie. Just nobody felt like they had to go to the theater to see it because it just looked like a streaming cartoon, right? It just looked like something you watch for free. And that's it. They gave away the store, and now people don't think they have to pay for anything. It's going to be very, very hard to put that genie back in the bottle. But they're talking about all the streamers that are blowing themselves up. They said that people are using pirate sites now more than they've ever used them before. They said, California's in a state right now. They said it's really impacting us in California. They said it's compounded by attractive international tax incentives, which have lured many major U.S. productions to foreign countries. Australia, England, Eastern Europe. California just hasn't responded to what's going on in the world. Well, apparently this is their response. They're going to double the tax credit. Yeah, I think we're on the other side of Hollywood, guys. I think it's going to be over here pretty soon. So there we go. What do you think? Leave a comment. We'll talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.